All right, for number 12, we're asked to find the exact value of sine of 11 pi over 12. So 11 pi over 12 is not going to be on our unit circle. So we can find this by splitting this 11 pi over 12 up into two numbers that are on our unit circle, two angle measures that are going to be on the unit circle, and then using either the sum or the difference identity for sine. So there's a few ways that we could split this up. Perhaps the easiest way to think about this is just to start from the beginning. If we started at 1 pi over 12, well, that's not on our unit circle, so we don't need to worry about that. 2 pi over 12 would be pi over 6. So let's try that. So 2 pi over 12, and then that would, to make up 11 pi over 12, the rest of it would be 9 pi over 12. Well, that's going to reduce to 3 pi over 12, which is on our unit circle, or sorry, 3 pi over 4, which is on the unit circle, and this is pi over 6, which is on the unit circle. So, so let's use this. Like I said, there's a few ways that we could split this up, but let's just go with the first one that we come to. So sine of pi over 6 plus 3 pi over 4. All right, so now we're going to look at our sum identity for sine, and that says that sine of alpha plus beta is equal to sine of alpha times the cosine of beta plus the cosine of alpha times the sine of beta. So we need the sine of this first angle, which is pi over 6, times the cosine of the second angle, 3 pi over 4, plus the cosine of the first angle, pi over 6, times the sine of the second angle, 3 pi over 4. All right, now all of these are on our unit circle. If we look at the unit circle, pi over 6 is this angle right here, and the coordinates are square root of 3 over 2, the coordinates of this endpoint, square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. And so the x coordinate is going to be the cosine, the y coordinate is the sine, and then 3 pi over 4 is this right here. So this one, the coordinates are going to be negative square root of 2 over 2, and then square root of 2 over 2. All right, so that's the cosine and the sine there. So let me squeeze this in here. So the sine of pi over 6 is 1/2. We're going to multiply that by the cosine of 3 pi over 4, which is negative square root of 2 over 2. And then we're going to add the cosine of pi over 6, which is square root of 3 over 2, times the sine of 3 pi over 4, which is square root of 2 over 2. Let me erase this. And 1/2 times negative square root of 2 over 2 is negative square root of 2 over 4. Plus square root of 3 times square root of 2 is the square root of 6 over 4. So now we can just add those together. We have a common denominator of 4. And then rather than write negative 2 plus the square root of 6, I'm going to reverse those so that I can just write the square root of 6 minus the square root of 2. And that's going to be the answer there.